Look around your room. It's quiet. You're alone. And to you, that feels like a relief, a chance to recharge your social battery. It isn't. For more than 99% of human history, if you found yourself completely isolated, you didn't recharge. You died, usually before morning. Autonomy is a modern invention. We treat solitude like a luxury, a state of being we actively pay for to escape the noise of a crowded world. We buy houses with fences. We put on noise-canceling headphones. We celebrate our independence. But your brain doesn't care about your modern comfort. Your brain is a historical document, and if you read the margins of that document, you will find that total isolation is coded not as a lifestyle choice, but as a death sentence. To understand why, we have to leave this room. We have to rewind the clock past the invention of cities, past the dawn of agriculture, straight into the brutal landscape of the Pleistocene. Imagine a world 100,000 years ago. You are not an individual here. You cannot be. On the ancient African savanna, or in the freezing valleys of Ice Age Europe, a lone human was an anomaly, and an anomaly was an easy meal. We were not the strongest creatures in that landscape. We lacked the curved fangs of the saber-toothed cats. We lacked the thick, armored hides of the megafauna. We couldn't outrun a leopard. We couldn't overpower a wolf pack. Our only evolutionary superpower was the web of connections between us, the tribe. The group was our shield, our armor, our collective memory. If you were part of the group, you survived. If you were separated from it, the wilderness swallowed you whole. Because of this, evolution couldn't afford to make loneliness a mild emotional inconvenience. It had to make it terrifying. It had to build a mechanism so violent, so deeply uncomfortable, that it would force an isolated human to crawl through thorns and fire just to find another face. When an early human became lost, when the hunting party disappeared over a ridge or a sudden storm cut them off from the camp, the brain didn't just feel sad. It entered a state of total biological panic. The moment your brain realizes there are no other humans around you, it assumes you are about to be hunted. Your sympathetic nervous system takes the controls. Your adrenal glands flood your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate spikes. Your blood pressure climbs. This is the classic fight-or-flight response, but with a dark twist. In total isolation, there is nothing to fight and nowhere to flee. The threat is the environment itself. Scientists studying the physiology of loneliness have discovered something remarkable. When a human is isolated, their body actively changes its gene expression. It turns down the genes responsible for fighting off viruses and turns up the genes that cause inflammation. Why? Because your biology assumes that if you are alone, you are about to be attacked by a predator. It is preparing your body for physical trauma. It is setting up the defenses to survive a bite, a scratch, a torn muscle. Your body is bleeding internally before anything has even touched you. But the physical breakdown is only the first stage. The real crucible happens inside your mind. When the sun goes down in an ancient, unlit world, the darkness is absolute. It is a thick, heavy blackness that modern humans have never experienced. Inside that darkness, your eyes are effectively useless. But your brain refuses to sit in the quiet. In total isolation, your mind activates a program called Hyper-Vigilance. Your hearing sharpens to a pathological degree. The snap of a twig 100 feet away sounds like an explosion. The rustle of dry grass sounds like a predator creeping toward your throat. And then, the hallucinations begin. When the brain is deprived of visual data, but flooded with panic hormones, it stops translating reality accurately. A shadow isn't just a tree trunk, it's a crouching cat. The wind through the rocks isn't just weather, it's the breathing of something waiting for you to close your eyes. You feel a heavy, crushing sensation in your chest. You feel the distinct, terrifying certainty that something is watching you from the dark. We have all felt this. You have likely felt it in your own home, walking up a dark flight of stairs or looking out a window into a pitch-black yard. We call it paranoia. We treat it like a psychological glitch, an irrational fear. It isn't. It is an ancient success feature. The humans who didn't feel that terror, the ones who wandered away from the group, sat comfortably in the dark, and looked at the stars without fear. They didn't live long enough to pass on their genes. You are the direct descendant of the most paranoid, hyper-vigilant, terrified creatures to ever walk the earth. You carry the DNA of the survivors. For 300,000 years, this was the balance. The terror of the dark kept us pinned to the campfire. It kept us glued to each other. And then, we broke the system. We built walls to keep the predators out. We invented streetlights to banish the dark. We created cities where we could live surrounded by millions of people without ever having to speak to a single one of them. We optimized away the physical dangers of isolation. We made it possible to survive alone. But nobody told your brain that the rules changed. Today, we live in an era of unprecedented connectivity. You can send a message to the other side of the planet in a fraction of a second. You can see the faces of your friends on a glass screen while sitting thousands of miles away. But your ancient biology doesn't understand a digital shadow. It doesn't recognize a text message as a sign of tribal safety. When you sit in a room by yourself for days on end, staring at a screen, your subconscious mind is looking for the markers of safety it has relied on for thousands of generations. It looks for physical touch. It looks for the shared rhythm of breathing around a fire. It looks for eye contact that isn't filtered through a camera lens. And when it finds nothing but silence and empty space, the old program boots up. The cortisol begins to drip. The inflammation starts to rise. The low-grade, persistent anxiety that defines modern life is not a mystery. It is the exact same biological alarm system that went off when an Ice Age hunter got separated from his tribe. Your brain thinks you are trapped in the woods. It thinks the fire is dying. It thinks the predators are closing in. We have traded the physical dangers of the ancient world for a safe, climate-controlled vacuum. We have isolated ourselves to protect our autonomy. But look around your room one more time. The walls are solid. The doors are locked. The lights are on. You are perfectly, undeniably safe. And yet, that quiet, nagging feeling inside your chest won't go away. The subtle, vibrating dread that follows you through the dark. You are not broken. You are simply a social machine operating in total isolation. Your brain is still screaming for the tribe to come back, and they haven't come back in a long, long time.